My beloved child, I know there are times when you sit in silence and look back on the years that have passed with a quiet, lingering regret. You remember the nights you stayed up far too late, the hurried meals that did not nourish you, the days when you forced yourself to keep going even though your heart was already drained, the seasons when you let sorrow carry you far from my gentle presence. Then you speak to yourself with heavy words. If only I had cared for myself sooner. If only I had stopped at the right time. If only I had not allowed pressure to control the rhythm of my life. If only I had listened to my voice from the beginning. But, my child, I am not calling you back so that you may stand forever beneath the shadow of if only. I do not place before you an old book filled with all the times you forgot yourself and then make you reread every page in shame. I come near to you as a father comes near to a weary child, not to punish, but to place my hand upon your shoulder and say that today can still be the day you begin again. Listen to me deeply. Repentance is the doorway that leads to renewal, but self-condemnation is the dark room that makes you forget the light. I want you to walk through that doorway, not imprison yourself in the old room. The things you neglected are not meant to become a sentence against you, but a gentle reminder that your life is more precious than the way you once treated it. I do not want you to care for your body out of fear or to prove that you are better. I want you to learn to care for yourself as a way of receiving my love. When you choose to sleep a little earlier, eat a more nourishing meal, step outside and breathe beneath the wide sky, take a sip of water with gratitude, or place your hand upon your chest to remember that I am still with you. You are telling yourself, I am no longer forgotten. I am loved. I am worthy of being cared for. Perhaps you once thought such small things did not matter. You believed there had to be a great change, a powerful turning point, a perfect moment before your life could become different. But I often sow restoration through very small seeds. An evening when you turn off the noise earlier, a morning when you do not rush straight into worry, a meal you prepare with gentleness instead of carelessness, a walk you take slowly, allowing your heart to speak to me, not with many words, but with each peaceful breath. Do not despise these things. A heavy rain begins with single drops. A flourishing garden is revived through quiet watering again and again. Small choices, when repeated in love, will gradually rebuild within you a healthier, calmer, and brighter rhythm of life. I know there are times when you divide your life into separate parts. You think prayer, trust, and seeking me are sacred things, while rest, eating, movement, and caring for your body are only ordinary matters. Things that may be present or may be neglected. But my beloved, I do not see you as a collection of scattered pieces. I created you with complete wisdom. Your breath, your heartbeat, your hands, your steps, your sleep, your tears, your smile, all of these are held within my providence. When you care for your body with reverence, you are not stepping away from the spiritual life. You are allowing the sacred to touch even the most ordinary things. When you use your feet to walk in fresh air, when you use your hands to prepare something that nourishes you, when you allow your eyes to rest from screens that confuse your mind, when you give yourself a quiet space so you are not swept into the endless rush, you are saying to me that you believe the life I have given you is a gift that must be tended. Remember Elijah, my servant, in a season of weariness so deep that he only wanted to lie down and give up. He had gone through great confrontations, had stood firm under many pressures, and yet, after it all, exhaustion came upon him like nightfall. And I did not come to him first with a long rebuke. I did not ask him why he had become weak. I did not force him to rise immediately and keep proving his faith. I let him sleep. I sent an angel to bring him bread and water. I cared for him through the simple gifts of rest and nourishment before calling him forward again. Do you see? Even those whom I use powerfully need to eat, to sleep, and to recover in tenderness. There are times when the holiest thing you can do is not to try harder, but to pause and receive the care I am giving you. Therefore, do not see rest as laziness, and do not see self-care as selfishness. Resting in me is a confession that you are not the final source of your own provision. You do not need to burn yourself to ashes to prove your worth. You do not need to run constantly in order to be loved. You do not need to carry every responsibility on your shoulders as though the whole world would collapse if you paused for a moment. I am the one who sustains your life. I am the one who watches over you while you sleep. I am the one who works even when you no longer have strength to do anything except place yourself in my peace. When you allow yourself to rest, you are not abandoning responsibility. You are learning to place responsibility under the light of wisdom instead of beneath the shadow of fear. I also want you to be gentler with your emotions. Do not let them drift too far away before trying to find your way back. When you are sad, bring that sadness to me. When you are angry, allow me to shine light upon the hidden place behind your anger. When you are anxious, place each unresolved thing before me, like a child laying heavy stones down from a pocket. You do not need to wait until you are completely calm before coming near to me. It is precisely when you are troubled that I want you to lean into me. I do not despise you for the days when you are weak. I do not turn my face away because you have not yet learned to care for yourself perfectly. I simply call you gently back, little by little, so that you no longer live as a stranger to yourself. From today, begin with what you can truly do. Do not make promises so large that you become discouraged when you cannot keep them. Choose one small but real step: a glass of water when you wake up, a meal that is a little less rushed, a pause in the middle of the day to breathe deeply and remember me, an evening when you lay down your worries earlier, a short walk in silence, without needing to pray many words, simply knowing that I am walking with you. These things are not small in my eyes. I rejoice when I see you cherishing the life I placed within you. I rejoice when you no longer treat yourself like a tool made only to work, endure, and complete duties. You are my beloved child, not a machine, not a vessel for others to fill with pressure and then abandon. And when you slip back into old habits, do not be quick to throw away the whole journey. One late night does not erase every step forward. One careless meal does not take away my love for you. One time when you forget to rest does not mean you have failed. Rise again with softness. Return to a healthy rhythm without beating yourself with cruel words. I am not looking for tense perfection in you. I am looking for a heart that knows how to return. Each time you return, you become stronger. Each time you choose what is good again, you are being rebuilt. Each time you say, I begin again with you, heaven does not record your failure, but rejoices because you still believe in grace. My beloved child, there are seeds within you that may seem to have slept for a very long time, but in my eyes, they have never died. The dreams you once cherished when you were very young, the things that made your eyes shine before life taught you to guard yourself, the pure desires you quietly put away because you feared being mocked, feared disappointment. I feared reaching out once more only to come back empty-handed. All of these things are still held by me. You may have forgotten them during the years when you had to brace yourself through pain, but I have not forgotten. You may have told yourself that it is too late, that you are too tired, that you are too different from who you once were to begin again. But I see you with different eyes. I see that the softest part of you is still alive. It is only drawn back to remain safe. I do not blame you for hiding it. When a heart has been hurt many times, It learns to close the door. But my child, I do not come to break the door down by force. I come like the dawn slipping through a small opening, patient and warm, until you trust enough to open again. There will come a season when I awaken what you thought was lost, not with noise that overwhelms you, but with gentle signs, a sudden thought that makes you smile, an old delight unexpectedly returning, an invitation that causes your heart to stir, a small desire that continues to glow even on the days when you thought you had stopped hoping. Then you will realize that dreams do not always leave you. Sometimes they retreat into a hidden place to wait until you are healed deeply enough. For there are things that, if they return too soon, you would push away in fear. There are blessings that, if they came while you were still too exhausted, you would mistake for burdens. So I allowed time to do its work. I allowed seasons of silence to teach you to breathe more slowly, falls to teach you not to be proud in your own strength, and lonely days to teach you what is my voice and what is the voice of fear. You once thought strength meant never trembling, never growing weary, never having days when you wanted to let go. But I tell you, strength in me is not like the strength the world praises. True strength is not always being hard, always appearing fine, always hiding your tears so no one knows you are hurting. True strength is daring to become soft again in my arms, daring to admit that you need to be upheld, daring to lay down burdens you have carried for too long because you thought they were your duty. There is a holy endurance in gentleness. There is a deep courage in refusing to let pain turn you cold. When you still choose love after all you have gone through, when you still choose to believe in the light after passing through many long nights, that is not weakness. It is evidence that I am still nurturing the most beautiful part of you. Remember the story of Joseph, who carried great dreams in his heart from his youth. He saw what I had planted in his life, but the road to it was not smooth. He was misunderstood, sold away, taken into a foreign land, forgotten in a dark place. And perhaps there were days when he wondered whether the dreams of his youth still meant anything. But I did not let that dream die in the pit. I did not let it disappear in prison. I did not allow human betrayal to erase what I had ordained. At the right time, I brought him out, not only so he could be lifted up, but so he could become a source of help for many. My beloved, it is the same in your life. There are things I placed in you early that are not destroyed by delay. What I have sown is not defeated by circumstance. If you have had to walk a path unlike the one you imagined, do not quickly conclude that the dream has been lost. Perhaps I am making its roots deeper, so that when it blossoms, no wind will easily tear it down. I know there are also times when you are afraid to begin again, because you remember the times you fell. You fear that one mistake will cause everything to collapse like a house built on sand. You fear that you will not be persistent enough, pure enough, strong enough to hold what I entrust to you. But my child, I do not love you with a fragile love that turns away at the first sign of weakness. I do not stand beside you like a judge, waiting for you to slip so I can condemn you. I am Father, and in my love there is support, correction, and patience longer than every disappointment you have ever felt toward yourself. When you fall, I do not ask why you have embarrassed me. I extend my hand first, so you will know there is still a way back. When you are tired, I do not demand that you prove your faith by forcing yourself to stand upright. I invite you to lean on me, so my strength may enter the places where yours has run dry. Therefore, I do not understand the fear of me as a heavy cloud hanging over your head. To fear me is not to tremble in anxiety, not to live as though every breath could be punished. To fear me is to recognize that I am so holy, loving, and true that you do not want to depart from that light. It is the reverence that makes your heart clear again. The gratitude that makes you want to walk rightly. The gentle awareness that your life is precious and must not be carelessly given to things that pull you down. When you look at me with loving reverence, you are not weighed down, you are lifted up. My presence does not suffocate you, it enlarges you. My correction does not make you smaller, it brings you back to the beautiful form I had in mind when I created you. Whenever your heart becomes troubled like water stirred by the wind, do not rush to seek answers in every voice around you. Return to me first. Just one moment of stillness, one breath lifted to me, one inward gaze turned toward my presence, and you will see that the storm no longer has the same power to control you. I may not always remove all the noise immediately, but I will teach you to find a resting place even in the midst of noise. I may not always answer in the way you expect, but I will let peace become the sign that shows you the next step. There are days when you need only do one very small thing. Do not run away from me. Stay, breathe, trust. Place your hand upon your chest and remember that you do not have to hold your life together with trembling hands. I am holding you. Then, when old dreams return, you will no longer hold them with the same fear as before. You will not see them as things so large that you must prove yourself worthy. You will learn to receive them as gifts given in the right season, with a heart that is less hurried, less self-accusing, less afraid of being abandoned. You will understand that I do not restore dreams merely so that you can achieve something outwardly. I restore them so you may realize that you are still alive, still called, still given a beautiful part in the flow of grace. What you once buried in tears, I can cause to bloom in the morning light. What you once released because it hurt too much, I can return to you in a healthier, brighter form, one more fitting for the person you are becoming. My beloved child, there will come a moment when you stand before two roads, and no one can take that step for you. On one side is the familiar path, where everything may exhaust you, yet still feels comfortable because you have learned to endure it for so long. There, you do not have to explain why you have changed. You do not have to face surprised looks. You do not have to hear accusations that you are no longer who you used to be. You only have to keep shrinking yourself. Keep being overly patient. Keep convincing yourself that things are not really that bad. That path may give you a temporary sense of calm, like a weak lamp in an old room, enough to keep you from fearing the darkness immediately, but not enough to show you the wide sky outside. I want you to understand this. The place where you have grown used to staying is not always the place you were created to belong. There are garments that once fit you in an old season, but now have become too tight because I am causing you to grow from within. On the other side, there is a path that is not easy to walk at first. It does not come paved with applause, does not promise that everyone will understand you, and does not guarantee that you will never have nights when your heart feels empty. But that path carries my light. It requires you to lay down the things you once clung to only because you were afraid of losing support, bonds that drained you, voices that made you doubt your worth, habits that quietly numbed you to the holy calling. It also requires you to release the small image of yourself that you have grown used to carrying, the image of a person who only endures, only steps back, only apologizes even when not at fault in order to keep others pleased. My beloved, I am not calling you to step out so you become so hard that you lose your gentleness. I am calling you to step out so your gentleness is no longer exploited, so your kindness is no longer treated like a door anyone may casually walk through and leave broken. Many times, the hardest thing is not recognizing the new path, but having the courage to leave the old one. Human beings often fear change more than familiar pain. A pain repeated many times can make you think it is your destiny. Being disregarded for too long can make you believe you deserve to be treated that way. An environment that wears you down can be called normal simply because you have stayed there for so long. But I am placing a new awakening in your heart. I do not want you to call chains responsibility. I do not want you to call silence born of fear harmony. I do not want you to call a place that has caused your smile to fade a home simply because it has familiar walls. True peace is not the absence of outward noise. True peace is when, within you, you no longer have to betray the light I placed there. Remember Abraham, when I called him to leave his homeland, his relatives, and the familiar place he knew, and go to the land I would show him. He did not hold a complete map in his hands. He did not know every turn, nor did he have crowds standing along the road, confirming that he was doing the right thing. What he had was a calling and a quiet trust that the one who leads does not deceive. Do you see? Many holy journeys do not begin with your certainty, but with my faithfulness. If Abraham had chosen to remain simply because the old place was more familiar, he would not have stepped into the land of promise. In the same way, you may not know everything waiting ahead, but you can know that I am the one going before you, and when I go before you, your uncertainty is no longer an abyss. It becomes the place where faith learns to grow wings. I do not force you to choose through threats. I do not tear from your hands the things you are not yet ready to release as though you were a lifeless object. I am Father, and my love does not trample upon your freedom. Illuminate. I gently remind. I allow you to feel that your heart is no longer at rest when you continue staying where you no longer belong. I allow a small but steady hope to rise each time you look toward the direction I am opening. Those signs are not imagination. That is how I speak with you in the quiet. There are doors outside that may still be open, but within you, you already know you are no longer called to walk through them. There are people who still smile at you, but their presence causes you to slowly lose your purity of heart. There are choices that appear reasonable, but the closer you come, the heavier you feel. Learn to listen to that gentle wisdom, because I often place warnings deep within before outward circumstances fully reveal themselves. My beloved, do not confuse comfort with what is right. There are roads with little wind that still lead you far from my voice. There are places without conflict only because you have lost your voice. There are relationships that seem stable only because you are always the one who suffers loss, always humbles yourself, always buries your pain so others will not be uncomfortable. I do not call that peace. I call you to a higher peace, where you can love without erasing yourself, forgive without returning to the old cycle of wounds, and remain humble without allowing others to crush the dignity I placed within you. You were not created merely to survive each day in weariness. You are called to live in the light, so your heart can sing again, and your eyes no longer look at the future as though it were a locked room. If one day you must walk away without many people understanding, remember that I understand. If you must release something that once felt like support, remember that my hand has not left you. If people say you have changed, let them say it. Some changes are signs of healing, not betrayal. If they blame you because you are no longer as easy to control as before, let me teach you to stand firm in gentleness. You do not need to prove to everyone that you are walking rightly. A seed leaving its shell does not need to explain to the darkness why it is turning toward the sun. It simply grows quietly according to the life placed within it. You, too, must grow in grace, in wisdom, and in the holy courage I am cultivating in you day by day. So, when you see two paths before you, do not only ask which one will hurt less. Ask which one will bring you closer to me. Do not only ask which path will keep you from loneliness. Ask which path will help you not lose the truth within your heart. Do not only ask which path will please others. Ask which path will allow your heart to breathe freely in my light. The first step may tremble, but I will make your feet steady. The beginning may feel lonely, but my presence will become clearer than every noise you once relied on. You may have to relearn how to live, how to trust, how to love, and how to set boundaries. But each lesson will not make you dry and barren. It will make you brighter, deeper, and more peaceful. My beloved child, there are days that may appear very ordinary on the outside, yet deep within, they are sacred milestones that you will only understand after you have passed through them. Today is one of those days. Everything does not need to be clear before I begin to act. Every door does not need to open before you are being guided. Sometimes, precisely when everything feels unfinished, when ties are still tangled, when questions remain unanswered, I am placing my hand upon your life in a quiet yet certain way. I do not always call you with thunderous signs that everyone can recognize. Often I call you through a very gentle stirring in your heart, through the feeling that urges you to stop, breathe deeply, and look at what you have tried to avoid for too long. That is not confusion. It is my invitation, gentle yet solemn, calling you back to the truth I have kept for you until this very moment. I know you have gone through seasons quietly. You did not loudly complain, did not run to seek someone to defend you, and did not rush to explain every misunderstanding. You chose silence not because you were weak, but because some deep part of you still believed that one day the truth would stand beneath my light. But my beloved, I also know that silence has taken much strength from you. There were nights when you lay down while your heart felt heavy, as though carrying stones. There were mornings when you woke up but no longer felt the lightness you once knew. You tried to pray, but sometimes your prayer was only a weary breath. You did not know what to ask for, did not know how to speak, only knew that some atmosphere was pressing down upon your heart, stealing the clarity you once carried. Do not be quick to condemn yourself for those feelings. I do not want you to call every wound in you weakness. I do not want you to see your sensitivity as a flaw. There are times when you sense what the eye has not yet seen. Recognize coldness before words confirm it, and perceive a change in a glance, the silence, or the way someone withdraws from you. You have wondered whether you are too sensitive, whether you misunderstood, whether you must have done something to make everything become this way. But I speak to you with the tenderness of a father. Not every wound within you was caused by you. Some cuts come from the dishonesty of others. Some heaviness comes from jealousy hidden beneath a smile. Some words seem accidental, but are released from a heart that is not pure. And some distances do not appear because you are not good enough, but because I am allowing you to see what had already become rotten within. Even so, I do not open your eyes so that you become bitter. I do not allow you to recognize the truth so you will live suspicious of everyone. I lift the veil not to teach you to become hardened in self-defense, but to free you from bonds that no longer belong to you. When I allow a relationship to become clear, when I let a word reveal the intention hidden behind it, when I cause you to lose peace in an environment that once felt familiar, it is because I am protecting you from things you may not yet have enough evidence to leave, but already have enough signs to awaken to. You do not need to hate anyone in order to step away from what drains you. You do not need to condemn anyone in order to choose peace. There are holy departures that do not require a loud slamming of the door. Only a heart that understands I am leading it toward a cleaner place. Remember Nehemiah. When he returned to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, that work did not take place amid applause, but amid mockery, opposition, schemes, and false invitations. Some people wanted him to come down from the work I had given him, using the excuse of meeting, discussing, and reconciling, when in truth, they wanted to distract him and cause his hands to let go of the sacred assignment. Nehemiah did not allow his heart to be pulled away from his mission. He did not chase after every call. He discerned which voices were meant to build and which were meant to make him afraid. My beloved, the same is true in your life. Not every invitation comes from goodness. Not every sudden friendliness carries a pure intention. Not every voice that calls your name deserves for you to turn around. I am teaching you as I taught my servant. Keep your hands on the work I have entrusted to you. Keep your eyes away from the things that want to pull you off course. And keep your heart abiding in the peace I have placed within you. Perhaps you have been saddened because those you trusted did not understand you. Perhaps you have been hurt because those who were once close became distant when you began stepping into new maturity. But do not see every separation as a loss. There are things that leave you because they cannot go with you where I am about to take you. There are people who fit only one season, not a lasting covenant. There are environments that once supported you in an old stage, but if you remain too long, they will become a garment too tight for what I am expanding within you. I do not take away to leave you empty. I make room so you can breathe, stand upright, and hear my voice more clearly without it being mixed with voices that confuse you. And in that cleansing, you will see that I am not only healing what has hurt, but also teaching you to walk more wisely. I do not want you to become someone who suspects every heart, but neither do I want you to be naive before things that drain your peace. Kindness does not mean allowing others to wound you carelessly. Forgiveness does not mean reopening every door. Love does not require you to stay where you are continually disregarded. I am teaching you a gentleness with boundaries, a compassion filled with light, a peace that no longer has to be purchased through endless, silent endurance. When you know what comes from me, you will no longer be shaken by things that exist only to pull you out of your steadiness. My beloved, I have seen the tears no one knows about, the times you swallowed pain inwardly, the moments when you wondered why you had to bear that heaviness. I was not absent. I was there, quietly carrying you through every day when you thought you could not take another step. And now, I am calling you out of the fog. Trust that what I reveal is meant to heal. What I separate is meant to protect. And what I allow to end is meant to open a way. You are not being left behind in confusion. You are being led out of it. Walk with me with a heart that is tender yet awake, gentle yet not easily swept away, loving yet not losing itself. I am your Father, and I will not allow falsehood to have the final word over your life.